You meet someone on a mission, they speak with passion, they look you in the eye, they say things like, "We're building something powerful. I see greatness in you. I just need your help to make it happen." So you believe them. You stay up late helping. You put your own goals on pause. You invest your time, your energy, maybe even your money. But weeks later, something feels off. Every win is their win. Every mistake is your fault. The goalpost keeps moving. You realize you weren't building a vision. You were building a throne, and you were never meant to sit on it. That's the manipulator disguised as a visionary. They don't want a team. They want control. They don't want impact. They want attention. They'll flatter you, use you, praise you, until you shine too bright. Then suddenly you're the threat, not the partner. And the worst part? You won't even see it coming until you've already lost time, trust, and peace. The Stoics had a name for this: illusion over virtue. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you walk beside someone whose vision is tainted by ego and deceit, that stain spreads. Their confusion becomes your chaos. In this video, we're breaking down 7 types of people you should never help build their vision. Not because you're cold, but because you're wise. Not because you lack compassion, but because you value clarity. From the charming manipulator to the undisciplined dreamer to the conflict-driven divider, these aren't leaders. They're distractions wearing ambition like a mask. Before we dive in, ask yourself, have you ever been used in someone else's purpose, pushed to the background while they played the hero? If yes, this video is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic insight, and comment below, never again. Let's protect our energy. Let's elevate our standards. Let's begin. Number 1, the undisciplined visionary. There is a particular kind of person who talks endlessly about building empires, creating legacies, and transforming the world. Their words can be inspiring, filled with grand plans and visionary promises. Yet if you look closer, their daily habits betray a different reality. They struggle to wake up on time, are often late to commitments, and frequently abandon projects halfway through. They crave the admiration that comes with leadership, but lack the very foundation that makes leadership genuine: self-discipline. Epictetus reminds us that freedom begins with mastery over oneself. Without it, the mind is a turbulent sea, and the person becomes a ship without a rudder. Such an individual wants the rewards of leadership but rejects the necessary structure and restraint. They envision mountains but lack the steady steps to climb them. This disconnect between desire and action is the hallmark of the undisciplined visionary. They live in chaos while expecting others to follow as if they were guiding a well-planned journey. Imagine a captain standing on a ship's deck in the midst of a storm, shouting commands to his crew. Yet this captain has no map, no compass, and no sense of the winds. His orders are erratic, his plans change with every wave, and his crew grows weary and confused. The ship drifts aimlessly, threatened by every gust and current. This analogy perfectly captures the danger of following a visionary who lacks discipline. You are led by passion without purpose, enthusiasm without execution. The danger here is not just wasted effort, but the deeper psychological toll on those who align themselves with such a leader. Followers invest time, trust, and resources only to be pulled into cycles of broken promises and unfinished ventures. Like leaves in the wind, their energy dissipates and motivation falters. Stoicism teaches us that external chaos need not disturb our inner peace. But when your external environment is controlled by an undisciplined leader, even your inner fortress can feel besieged. Moreover, the undisciplined visionary's inconsistent behavior fosters mistrust. Seneca warns that no man is brave who is not first afraid, but courage must be grounded in reliability. When promises are frequently broken or deadlines missed, faith erodes. People start questioning whether the vision is real or merely a fantasy. This breeds cynicism and resignation, leading those who once believed to either abandon the cause or settle for mediocrity rather than true transformation. In the final analysis, a vision without discipline is like a body without a skeleton, shapeless and weak. It cannot support the weight of ambition or the rigors of reality. Marcus Aurelius counseled that, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Following someone who cannot govern themselves is to court falsehoods dressed as dreams. For true leadership, whether of others or oneself, must begin with the unwavering discipline to shape daily habits, control impulses, and honor commitments. Only then can a vision grow into a lasting legacy worthy of support. Number 2. The manipulator disguised as a leader. At first glance, the manipulator disguised as a leader can be irresistible. Their words flow smoothly like a well-rehearsed melody, promising unity, transformation, and service to a grand cause. They radiate warmth and confidence, attracting followers with the allure of shared purpose. But behind this polished exterior lies a darker reality. Their true aim is control, their true motive power, and their true loyalty is to self-interest rather than virtue. The Stoics warned us repeatedly about the dangers of flattery and deception. Seneca cautioned, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." Yet the manipulator seeks to conquer not through strength of character, but through skillful persuasion and subtle coercion. Their eloquence is a veil, hiding intentions that are anything but noble. Like a serpent cloaked in feathers, they seduce with charm, but strike with cunning. The very community they promise to build is often a facade masking their desire to dominate. Consider the analogy of a beautiful garden tended by a gardener who uses poison beneath the surface. To the casual observer, the garden flourishes, vibrant and inviting, but the roots absorb toxins that slowly spread, eventually killing the life it outwardly celebrates. Similarly, the manipulator's vision appears bright and promising, but it poisons the souls of those who follow. The poison is subtle, distrust sown between allies, truth twisted into advantage, kindness weaponized for compliance. Supporting such a figure is perilous not only because their vision is false, but because the cost is your own integrity and freedom. The manipulator wants followers who will serve their ambition, not partners who will challenge or grow. This relationship is one-sided. Your energy and loyalty flow outward, while their accountability remains elusive. The Stoics believe that true leadership is a service grounded in justice and wisdom. Anything less is tyranny disguised as guidance. The effect on those who aid manipulators is often profound disillusionment and depletion. Epictetus reminds us, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Yet entangled with a manipulative leader, your will is constantly tested and worn down by conflicting demands and veiled threats. You become a pawn in a game where your own values and goals are sacrificed for someone else's gain. Ultimately, helping a manipulator is not a noble act, it is complicity. It enables their harmful designs and delays your own path to wisdom and freedom. Marcus Aurelius counsels, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Support those whose character shines through pressure, whose visions align with truth, injustice, and whose leadership invites growth rather than control. To stand with the manipulator is to walk a shadowed path, where illusions reign and true virtue fades. Number 3, the victim who wants a movement. There exists a type of person whose vision is not to build or to heal, but to mourn and to gather sympathy. This is the victim who wants a movement, a leader fueled not by hope or courage, but by grievance and pain. Instead of seeking solutions, they invest their energy in naming every injustice done to them or their group, often magnifying setbacks into tragedies. Their leadership centers on the narrative of suffering, and they invite others to join them in that shared sorrow rather than in growth or transformation. Epictetus teaches that true freedom arises from mastery over one's responses to external events, not from attempting to control those events themselves. Yet the victim leader inverts this wisdom. They blame every obstacle on external forces, circumstances, other people, fate, never acknowledging personal responsibility or the possibility of interchange. This mindset builds a shrine to pain, a monument of complaints where progress is sacrificed for perpetual grievance. The energy that could foster resilience instead feeds stagnation. Imagine a ship caught in a relentless storm with a captain who insists the sea is to blame for their plight. Instead of steering, the the captain directs the crew's anger at the waves, rallying them to blame the ocean for their failure to reach shore. The crew grows bitter and restless, but the ship remains adrift. The victim leader's movement resembles this drifting ship, rallying around what holds them back rather than what might set them free. The danger of following such a leader is that you become trapped in a cycle of emotional exhaustion and dependency. Instead of inspiring empowerment, they cultivate dependency on their grievance. You find yourself constantly cleaning up emotional messes, soothing wounds that never seem to heal, and defending a cause rooted in pain rather than progress. Your own potential to grow is overshadowed by the weight of their unhealed wounds. Seneca reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. But the victim clings to difficulty, refusing the labor of transformation. This type of leadership ultimately discourages true change. It fosters a culture where vulnerability becomes a shield rather than a step toward growth, where complaints substitute for action, and where followers are comforted in their pain rather than challenged to rise above it. Supporting them means sacrificing your vitality and risking your own journey toward virtue and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." The victim leader never teaches this lesson, for their survival depends on keeping the injury alive. To support a victim who wants a movement is to join a congregation of sorrow, not a community of strength. The Stoics urge us to seek leaders who embody resilience, who face adversity without surrender, and who transform hardship into wisdom. When you choose to support those trapped in victimhood, you not only enable their stagnation, but compromise your own path toward freedom. The true leader calls us to stand tall, to demand the best of ourselves, and to move forward, even when the road is steep and uncertain. Number 4, the imitator with no original fire. In a world saturated with voices clamoring for attention, the imitator thrives by simply echoing others. This type of leader lacks original vision. Their ideas are borrowed, their enthusiasm borrowed, and their direction borrowed. They imitate the slogans of popular figures, copy the latest trends, and mirror the strategies that seem to attract the most followers. Their vision is less a creation and more a reflection, lacking the clarity and conviction that comes from genuine insight and experience. Marcus Aurelius teaches that the true path is one aligned with nature and reason, a path that each must walk for themselves. The imitator, however, walks a borrowed path. They mistake mimicry for leadership and imitation for innovation. Such a leader is like a shadow, present only because of the light cast by others. Their mission lacks soul. It is devoid of the inner fire that fuels persistence through adversity. Without an original spark, they are destined to flicker and fade. Consider the analogy of a flame versus a reflection of flame. The flame is alive, unpredictable, and warm. It consumes fuel, illuminates darkness, and endures storms. The reflection, however, is lifeless, a mere image dependent on the flame's presence. When the source dims or disappears, so too does the reflection. The imitator is that reflection, dependent on trends and external validation, unable to stand firm in their own light. Once the applause or the spotlight fades, their ambition evaporates. The danger of following an imitator is subtle but profound. Their lack of genuine conviction means they shift with the wind, changing direction to capture the moment rather than to uphold principles. This leaves their followers disoriented, caught in cycles of confusion and inconsistency. Seneca warned that a ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope. Yet the imitator often anchors their identity to fleeting popularity, making their leadership unstable and unreliable. Emotionally and practically, supporting an imitator drains your resources without yielding real progress. You invest your energy in causes that lack depth, and your trust in promises that lack substance. The imitator's vision offers no firm ground to build upon, only the illusion of movement. Over time, this can lead to frustration and disillusionment, as you realize the movement you believed in was never truly moving forward. Epictetus reminds us, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would have mentioned them too." Similarly, do not excuse a leader's faults of imitation. See them for what they are. True leadership, according to Stoicism, comes from inner wisdom and steadfastness, not from chasing applause. It demands the courage to stand alone when necessary and the clarity to pursue a path that resonates with your deepest values. To follow an imitator is to follow the wind, not the stars. It is a path fraught with uncertainty, devoid of the strength that sustains through hardship. When the imitator's fire extinguishes, you are left to find your own light, if you still have the strength to look. Number 5, the narcissist who can't share the stage. Among those who claim leadership, there exists a type whose vision is less about the collective mission and more about personal adulation. This is the narcissist who cannot share the stage. Their true aim is not progress or purpose, but the spotlight itself. Every decision, every conversation, every interaction is filtered through the lens of self-glorification. They want admirers, not allies, and the moment you shine too brightly, you become a threat to their fragile ego. The Stoics consistently champion humility and the power of collective strength. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The narcissist, by contrast, is impoverished in spirit despite any external success. Their hunger for recognition is insatiable, and this hunger transforms collaboration into a subtle battlefield. Though they may preach teamwork and unity, their actions reveal a desire to dominate the stage, to drown out voices that might challenge their self-image. Imagine a theater troupe where one actor insists on hogging every scene, overshadowing every co-star, regardless of their talent or importance to the story. The troupe's performance suffers because the focus is no longer on the narrative, but on one individual's quest for applause. In the same way, a narcissistic leader distorts the group's vision into a one-man show, where genuine collaboration is sacrificed for personal spotlight. The team's potential is diminished, and the collective story remains untold. The danger of supporting such a leader is that you slowly shrink, not because you lack capacity or worth, but because their need to monopolize attention crowds out your space. They silence contributions that don't serve their narrative, subtly undermine achievements that don't center on them, and covertly compete with anyone who dares to stand on equal footing. Over time, your confidence erodes, and your role is diminished to that of a background character in their drama. Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The narcissist demands you dilute your essence to fit their ego-driven script. Emotionally, the toll is exhausting. You become locked in an invisible contest where you are always vying for validation you'll never fully receive. The narcissist's approval is conditional and fleeting, dependent not on your true merit, but on how well you reinforce their self-image. This dynamic breeds resentment and self-doubt, corroding the joy and meaning that should come from shared purpose. Marcus Aurelius advises, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Yet in the presence of a narcissist, tolerance is tested and self-strictness is often compromised as you try to navigate their fragile insecurities. The Stoic path urges us to seek leaders who value the whole over the self, who embody calm strength rather than theatrical flamboyance. Such leaders inspire by lifting others, not by casting shadows on their light. To support a narcissist is to invest in a diminishing return. Your growth stifled, your voice muted, your contributions minimized. True leadership shines brightest when it shares the stage, not when it demands the spotlight alone. When you find yourself beside someone who cannot share the stage, the wisest act is to step off and reclaim your own light. Number 6, the dreamer who won't act. They speak in sweeping visions and poetic declarations. Their words are intoxicating, full of bold futures, impossible hopes, and transformative revolutions. You leave their conversations inspired, even electrified. But when the moment for execution comes, there's a void. They vanish into abstraction, postponing action with endless ideas and hypothetical what-ifs. This is the dreamer who never acts. They worship vision, but reject the sweat, setbacks, and sacrifices that real progress demands. The Stoics made it clear, ideas mean nothing without action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." That's the dividing line between the Stoic and the dreamer, where one embodies the principle in daily living, the other endlessly theorizes, hoping the dream alone will substitute for effort. But the dream without discipline is a siren song, beautiful, seductive, and ultimately shipwrecking. Supporting such a person becomes an exercise in suspended reality. Think of a farmer who spends every day talking about the perfect crop, how it will feed thousands, how it will change the village, how abundant it will be. Yet each season he fails to till the soil, plant the seeds, or water the land. Eventually you realize he's more in love with the fantasy of harvest than the labor of cultivation. This is the dreamer leader. They build castles in the sky, but never lay a single brick on earth. Their dreams exist only in speech, not in steps. And therein lies the danger. If you walk beside them too long, you'll start mistaking words for work. You'll spend your energy on plans that never begin, on promises that stay in the air. Your time gets entangled in potential, but progress never arrives. What's worse, their inertia is often cloaked in charm. They'll tell you, the timing isn't right, or the idea still needs refining, or we're almost ready. But readiness without action is paralysis in disguise. Seneca warned us, while we wait for life, life passes. Likewise, while we wait for a dreamer to act, seasons change, momentum dies, and reality hardens around us. Over time, this pattern becomes emotionally taxing. You begin to question your own pace, your own impatience. You may even internalize their delays as a form of higher wisdom, as if inaction were the hallmark of genius. But the Stoic knows better. Wisdom is proven in the doing. True visionaries move. They may move slowly, even quietly, but they move. Their actions may not be glamorous, but they build. Their vision has weight because it touches the ground. If someone you support refuses to build, year after year, idea after idea, it's not because they're misunderstood. It's because they are avoiding life. And the Stoic life is built not in theory, but in embodiment. It's in the decisions made, the habits formed, the labor embraced. Don't stay too long at the table of the dreamer who won't act. You'll leave with nothing but the echo of plans. 7. The divider who thrives on conflict. At first glance, they seem fearless. Their voice cuts through the noise. They speak truth to power, expose the system, and call out injustice. But look closer. Their energy is not grounded in clarity, only in conflict. Their movement isn't rooted in a solution. It's a rebellion without a blueprint. These are the dividers who thrive on opposition. Their purpose is shaped not by vision, but by enemies. Without someone to fight, they have no identity. This type of leader confuses rage for righteousness. They elevate indignation over introspection, reaction over responsibility. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." But this person is not free. They are tethered to their grudges, dependent on friction to stay relevant. They do not lead people toward light, but recruit them into shadows. The more people they can rile up, the more power they appear to hold. Yet this power is a mirage, a loud flame with no real heat. Imagine a captain who rallies his crew not to sail toward new lands, but to endlessly chase pirates. Every journey becomes a battle. Every storm is blamed on someone else. The ship is always armed, always tense, always pointed at an enemy, never at a destination. Eventually, the crew forgets why they boarded in the first place. That's what happens when you follow a divider. You get trapped in an endless war with ghosts, never building, only burning. The Stoics valued composure, rational thought, and the practice of virtue even in adversity. Epictetus warned, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings." But the divider does the opposite. They amplify others' flaws while avoiding their own. Their narrative always paints them as the betrayed, the silenced, the righteous. But rarely, if ever, do they look inward. And if you stand beside them long enough, you'll find yourself mimicking their mindset, suspicious, bitter, and constantly agitated. The danger of following someone who thrives on division is not just wasted energy, it's a distortion of your own soul. You begin to measure your worth by who you oppose rather than what you stand for. Conversations become arguments. Progress becomes vendetta. And joy, that quiet strength the Stoics revered, becomes harder and harder to access. Marcus Aurelius taught, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But the divider gives their mind away to every external threat, real or imagined, and they'll pull you into that chaos. Supporting a divider might feel thrilling at first. They seem passionate, awake, urgent. But the cost is your peace, and eventually your purpose. Their fire can't be shared, only fed. And once you stop fueling it, you'll become their next target. Remember, movements built on resentment rarely create anything worth keeping. If someone leads by tearing others down, they'll eventually tear down those closest to them. Don't follow a flame that only knows how to burn. Conclusion. Now that we've explored the 7 types of people you should never support their vision, let's bring it all together with a sobering reminder. You are not here to carry the weight of someone else's illusion. You are not obligated to build a future that dishonors your values. The Stoics taught clarity, discipline, and virtue, not blind loyalty. Supporting the wrong vision isn't just a waste of time, it's a violation of your path. Stoic philosophy teaches us that virtue is the highest aim, to live with reason, to walk in truth, to choose what strengthens the soul, not what drains it. That means being wise enough to walk away, even when the story is compelling, even when the person is charming, even when the cause sounds noble. You can't save someone by sacrificing yourself to their delusion. You can't build a better world by helping the wrong person lead it. You are responsible for what and who you support. So here's your challenge. Take inventory. Who in your life fits one of these 7 types? Are you still helping them? Are you still building a vision that isn't aligned with your values? If this video gave you clarity, hit that like button to push this message out to others. Drop a comment and tell us, which type have you dealt with before? Subscribe for more truth-infused content rooted in Stoic wisdom and modern clarity. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. Protect your time. Honor your energy. Choose wisely who you build with, because not everyone deserves your help, especially when their vision will cost you yours.